My name is Niema, author of Discovering Your Greatness Now. This is my second blog video for the book. And the first blog video, basically, I did an interview with Darcel, and we just kind of went over my background a little bit. So this time, I'm going to start covering different chapters of the book and giving you kind of like a snapshot of why I wrote that chapter and kind of just some little inside scoop on, you know, where that chapter developed from. So for today, out of Discovering Your Greatness Now, I'm going to just talk about the first chapter, which is in Side A. And the first chapter is called The Journey. And basically the quote, every chapter starts with a quote that I came up with. So for chapter 1, well, for lesson 1, because all my chapters are lessons. So for lesson 1, I'm doing, no matter what is holding you back from your dreams is not greater than discovering what the world has for you. So in the whole chapter 1, I'm really talking about how my journey started. How did I even discover that there was a journey for me to take? In terms of that verbiage alone, it really took a while for me to find my identity as a person outside of, I grew up with my grandma raised me. So outside of who she wanted me to be, it took me a while after I left home out of high school to really figure out what's my identity on my own. What does all that mean? And when you're young, you think you know who you are, but then you encounter situations that test who you think you are. So I really go into depth in chapter 1 about my first really big struggle and the first big decision I had to make. But before I really go into that, this kind of goes along with what's going on in chapter 1. I posted a post on my author page on Facebook, and the question was, if you could change one decision you made coming out of high school, what would that be? And this really confirmed for me that a lot of people are not getting encouraged to just follow their dreams at a young age and to really go out and do what it is they want to do. So I posted that question. And let me see, the first person says, not following my dreams, doing what I thought others expected me to do. So that was from one of my friends, another 20-something. She, you know, just said it loud and clear. And that was one of the things that I struggled with. So in the first chapter, I talked about how I ran track, and I was really successful in track. I was a 4-time national champion, 11-time All-American. I did really well in college in track. But when I was younger, a pastor had prophesied to me that I was going to be a track star, whatever. And I would say, if somebody's telling you something, or trying to, psychic or whoever's trying to tell you what you're going to do, it should already be a confirmation that that's what you're going to do. Don't take their word for it. If it's not already in you, ignore it. So anyway, because I was brought up in a real religious home, I thought that seed was planted in me from that person, and my family members around me push that in me too. They like, yeah, you're gonna be a track star, you're gonna be a track star. So for a long time, that was my dream, to, you know, go to the Olympics. Now, to make, you're gonna hear about the story in chapter 1 in detail, but to make a long story short and to kind of give you some background, I got to a point where I had to make a decision to stop running and to change and do something else or keep going. And I made a decision to stop running. And that was a pivotal moment in my journey. I feel like that's when my journey really began. Who is Niema? Niema is not a track star. Niema doesn't want to run track. That was a huge realization for me to come to. So, and I thought about, what are other people going to think? Because, you know, I was raised, if you stop something, you're a quitter. And so I struggle with that. Are people going to think I'm quitting? Or is it really time to just move to another chapter in my life? So after some soul searching, I realized it's time to move to another point. So my point in talking with you today in regards to what lesson 1 refers to, you may not come to a pivotal moment in your life until after you're out of the house and you're on your own, and you start realizing, is this what I want to do, or is this what my parents want me to do, or is this what society wants me to do? However you come to that conclusion, that happened for me. And I had actually already graduated from college, and I was still running, and it was coming to a point where I just didn't have the drive and the heart to go after it, because being an athlete is a whole lifestyle. But yeah, my identity was wrapped up in me being a runner. And I had to figure out who is my identity outside of the things I'm doing. Who am I? Who do I want to be in terms of what can't be taken away from me? So I'm actually going to read a quote that is at the end of chapter 1. And the last paragraph for chapter 1 is called Taking a Plunge and Letting Go. So really letting go of the fear, letting go of whatever it is that's the monkey on your back. Letting that go and just moving forward. And so the quote that I'm going to give you is, as you start on your journey, remember to practice letting go of all issues, fears, harmful people, and try new things. Begin to understand who you are by asking yourself why you chose to do the things you do. And that's really what taking your own journey is about, owning it for yourself, really asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why did I choose to go to Drexel? Why did I choose to go to, you know, this college? Or why am I choosing to go straight into the workforce out of high school? You really have to sit down and figure those things out, because if not, you're going to hit, you know, a wall, and you're going to hit a roadblock. So I'm going to end this blog with kind of finishing up with some of the people that answered that question. So if you forgot the question, it was, if you could change one decision you made coming out of high school, what would that be? So this is the question that I post on my Facebook, my author page. And listen to some of the responses and think about, you know, your life and one decision that you could have made differently coming out of high school. Or if you're still a high school student, keep this in mind for when you're moving forward. So some of the responses are not following my dreams. Some responses are not going right into the music industry. I had a couple of talented artists I was around, and I did not push them like I should have. Another person says, I regret not getting right into my dream. I love music. Another person says, not sticking to my original major, switching majors back and forth. I wish I hadn't known everything. I wish I had known everything already. I would have taken the time to take advice from my parents. I didn't listen. So what else do we have here? I would have gone to a community college first, then transferred to a 4-year school after getting my GPA up. Applying for more scholarships and doing more research about colleges. And then the last one we have, I would have went straight into college instead of waiting. So when you're thinking about making a transitional decision, it's really, really good to just do as much research as possible. I can't stress that enough. When I was, and sometimes it's not even about research, it really is about listening to your soul and what is your gut feeling leading you to do. And that was, for me, it was my gut feeling and telling me it's time to stop running track and it's time to move on. It's time to move on to something else. And not that I was moving on to something bigger and brighter or something that's gonna make me a millionaire, but just something else to just add to my story. So that's what I did, and it took a lot of courage, it took a lot of strength, it took a lot of me not caring about how people were going to judge me for stop running, but just being willing to just jump out there and be like, this is my life, this is my journey, I'm going to own it and really step into who I am as an individual. So that's what I encourage you to do. So stay tuned to blog number 3, where I'm going to give you, you know, a snapshot of the next chapter in the book. So NiemaGolphin.com is where you can get Discovering Your Greatness Now. Alright, make sure you go purchase it if you want to be inspired. Go out there, discover your greatness now.